It is time. Actually, give me a second. I think I haven't started an upload for a previous stream. Yes, okay. And cool, it's not been claimed. $2026 now. Wow. Okay. Is there sound on my stream? Yep. Okay. Hey, Hack the Doc. I kind of have an issue with motivation, but the way to deal with motivation is to just do it. So, why? What? What do you mean? Well, about motivation. I don't know. It's like I don't want to start working, and then it gets late. I'm like, I'll do it later. Then it gets late. I'm like, okay, well now it's too late. So that is a bad thing. So here's my idea. I need blue noise. I want to be able to create blue noise, but it's really, really slow. And I looked it up a little bit. No one does it the way that I would like to do it. The way that it's done is essentially just through C++, and it's really slow, and they're like, don't make anything bigger than 64 by 64, okay? But I need like 128 or 256 blue noise, and I want the high quality void and cluster blue noise. This is like I think I was testing it, 32 pixels, 32 by 32, which I think this is probably what this image is. Yeah. It literally takes several seconds for 32 by 32. At least in Godot's Python land, I know that if I were to write a shader, I can definitely write a shader to do this, or at least to do the hard steps. I need Gaussian blur. I don't have that. What was it? Something starts with a K. That blur is really good for approximating large Gaussian blurs, but small ones where I need like, essentially this is like 3 pixels, 1, 2. It looks like it's about 2 or 3 pixels away. Sigma 2, I guess that's approximately like 2 or 3 pixels or something like that. Actually, no. No, I think... No, here's the blur. I was looking at the wrong one. This is 2. 2 doesn't really specify how far it is, but I think the wiki says that generally it's like 6 times your value. So what is this one for? Okay, just like a really... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... What? Can I count? 1, 2, 3, 4... This is 7. Yeah, so a value of like less than 1 already requires like a 7 by 7 matrix. So a value of 2, I think it said it's approximately 6 times. And you would add 1. Yeah. Calculate matrix dimension 6 sigma. So, and rounding it up. And then you want it to be odd. So if you get an even number out of that, you would need to add 1, or you just add 1. So your center pixel is in the middle. So this is going to benefit really well from a shader, having that. And then I think I can do the void and cluster sorting via shader. I definitely can. It's not something I've ever tried to do. But I'm sure for a large image where you need to find the brightest pixel out of like whatever 256 squared is. Let me just... Doesn't sound fun. Yeah, it's not. Well, it's tedious, but it'll be fun for me. I think I'll enjoy it. What is this? 256. So sorting 65,000 pixels to find the brightest and the darkest part. I mean, you have to blur it. The blur is the more expensive part. But then I thought I can have a shader pipeline where I do the blur and then I do the sort and then I retrieve the void and cluster, the light and dark part, the coordinates of those, and then flip those and then send in the new texture to do the whole process over again. So that could be... I think that can just be one shader. That's my idea. I'm just gonna write a shader to do it. I think it's typically... What is it? GD shader... No, definitely not. I've been calling them .import. Oh, no. Wait. How am I doing this? Oh, I'm not doing anything. I'm just letting it... That's the type of blur that I was talking about. I'm just letting it run. Auto exposure does this. It does this thing. It's a little bit cryptic to me, this part, but what is it? The first thing this does is for every pixel, it just writes the value. Wait, read. Yeah. So for every pixel, this will get... So the main function runs every pixel. Here's t, which is essentially a pixel index. We write it to size. Where does size come from? Define size 8. Oh, okay. Maybe I don't understand how this works, actually. Okay, I need to look at, I guess, the actual thing as well. Because apparently... I don't know how it works. Oh, that's cool. So, I'm pretty sure... Render callback. Okay, so we start with... Those are all our constants. We should just start with the screen texture. Buffers, I believe. This is just... Wait. Where do I make the buffers? Oh, setup. This comment. What, the Godot moment? Yeah, what am I talking about? Is it this? Where I'm obviously writing integer division, like fully integer division, and it's like, oh, by the way, you're doing integer division. I think so. Maintain current exposure value when resizing. Yeah, so we just keep that. If current is valid, force a sync. Right, okay, so we force a synchronization. We get the color. Okay. Clear buffers. Okay. What am I missing here? Buffers append while true. Where's the break? Final. Final is when we're down to a single pixel. And that becomes current. Right. Because you want two of these. These swap back and forth. And I clear it with that value. Okay. So I start with... width and height size? What is size? What is size? Oh, setup buffers. Buffer size, okay. All right, so we take the full image and we keep creating 8x8 smaller buffers. I don't think I have to do this. Exactly. I mean, maybe I should do it exactly the same way. It's pretty much identical to the what I'm trying to do is essentially identical to auto exposure, except instead of coming down to like a 1 pixel which contains 2 values, I could do like an RGBA So I could have 4 channels. First channel is x coordinate of the cluster. Second channel is y coordinate of the cluster. Third channel is x coordinate of the that's the final result. However, technically I need to know the how would I do this? Actually, yeah, how do I do this? We sum everything together. So this would be like my operation. So I would say size right shift 1. So size starts at 8. So essentially I have 8 pixels run. So all 8 pixels go. Wait, what? Size times size shift 1. So 64 shift down to 32. And then I say my position is adding the next position plus size. So it would be plus 32. So the first thing it does is it says, so everyone's going to run, but we do half. So everyone, you could think of it like essentially grabbing your neighbor, I think. So 0 is going to add 0 and 32. 1 is going to add 1 and 33. Essentially like that. Though, yeah, it'd be like that. And then once everyone's done, we shift size down to 16. We go back. So 0 is going to add 16. 1 is going to add 17. And that would go up to 16. So 16 would add 32. Or 15 would add 31. Because 0 gets 32. Wait. Something like that. But what I think I really want to do is I want to say for an 8x8 area. So if I have this where local size is 8. So every call here, T is going to be local invocation ID. So this would be 0 to 63, I assume. Though I don't, local size. There's also a grouping thing. So groups. So what I could say is how does the groups work? So if I say 2 groups and my shader says my local size is 8 by 8, that means I have, or let me say I have a two X groups, 2 Y groups. That means group 1 is working on the 0 to 8 area. Group 1. 2 is going to be, so I'd run 4 times in each one of those 4 groups. Would be that size. Y times size plus 8. Or plus X. Oh, I missed this. Okay. So you have the global invocation ID. That's the pixel. Jeez. Local invocation ID tells it where it should be in its thing. Okay. If any less than, I don't really know what any less than means. I mean, I'm guessing that just means that your global position is within the size of the image. I don't even know why you need to do that. I guess you'd have to. Because if your image is slightly smaller than 2 groups worth, because you have to round up. So you have, some of your groups are not going to have all data, I guess. I want to divide. Do I divide by average? The smaller value between this is like by group. The thing is just getting me so much is this group and other thing. So interpolate should be called on like the final buffer. Oh, we're writing to a different one, right? Yeah, so we have destination. And we read from screen or source. Yeah, this is just a special thing where screen is the original pixels, so we have to compute the luminosity for that. And then otherwise we're just grabbing the value in a temp data. Alright. I get to take the dog out. I'll be back in a minute. I have a wonder. Why? Oh, I guess that's why. I was gonna say, why do we do this? Or what's the difference between doing groups and just having? I guess the group provides you this information. You can have this shared thing, which is here. So everyone writes your group, your 8x8 group of pixels, write to temp data. Simultaneously, they all do it. And then half of those take their value and do an operation on some other value. Stop. And then half of that group, now here, does their half. So essentially here, if TSS in size, there'd be like another if statement. Or I guess you're not supposed to use ifs with shaders. You're supposed to do like max and min is what I would do. So the operation becomes a multiplication. So it would essentially be pick the higher value and then save that coordinate to your high value coordinate position, and then take your low value between the two and then save that one to your low value coordinate position. So if your pixel and the pixel X number away from you, these are what you have to work with. If your pixel is brighter, you just leave it unchanged, or I guess you would just write its position and then value. That's the other thing. You have to have the value as well. And then we're also working with floats, which kind of sucks. Though I wonder if I can have, instead of a float there, if I could have an integer. What would I do first? Because essentially it comes back as a blur. It gets blurred. Also, is there a way to put... Because if I do a compute shader... Dispatch. Did I figure out if I needed to do this? Wait. Oh yeah, the dispatches will be in order. What's this one then? I guess this is for like left and right, like what is it, like VR thing where you have like two buffers you have to write to. Don't worry about that. So dispatch will happen in order. So when I dispatch, everything that I said will happen in order, and then I can write a new one and dispatch that one, and that will happen after all of this, before. Seems weird. Buffers never change size, but our screen might. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I think I see why. Because the way the groups work is that's how you get shared data in the first place. And then the buffers progressively getting smaller until you get down to your final size. Yeah, my issue is how am I going to store the values that I need to? I guess I could use 4 again. So the first one is the value of the max or the min. And then the second one is an encoded coordinate of the image. So that would be 32. Here's the thing I don't know, is if I have 32 bits, I don't know. But I should be able to I don't think I can do bit manipulation. I don't think it's possible. So if I say I'm storing a float, I have to read it as a float. I can't. I guess a float's enough, right? A 32-bit float should be enough. I can just store it, the number, exactly as it is. Essentially, at the end of the operation, I have to have a position of the cluster and a position of the void, and then I essentially turn the void on and I turn the cluster off. So I essentially move a pixel from a high density to a low density area. The highest density pixel to the lowest density pixel. Also Gaussian blue, that should be Gaussian blur. Gosh, I wish my shift key worked. Okay. The first thing I have to do is I have to write compute at the top. Okay, well, auto exposure isn't actually... It is compute. Why is it... Why does it not have compute? I was trying to think, do I include it in a different way? But no, I don't think so. Shader path, that. And this one does not say compute. This one is a tool. Is auto exposure? Okay, I don't know why I have... Whatever. Alright, let me just start with... I wish my shift key worked, and also W. I wish half the keys on my keyboard worked. I actually just have to get a new keyboard, I think. Or, like, do something with the keycaps. They're just like slightly too small on some of the keys. Like, some of them always press, like, no problem. Like, I never sticks. I never have an issue with that one. W, it's sticking. It's like Like I can't push it all the way down. I don't know if you could hear that. I like was putting a lot of force on it. It's like latched or something. I don't know if the keycaps suck or what. I don't know. X always works. K always works. J always works. Yeah, it's like some of the keys. Maybe it is like the keycaps and not anything with other stuff. A catches a little bit, but not fully. Okay. Why do I have to put compute here and not here? I don't know. Yeah, I actually don't know. Okay, Gaussian blur. So I guess what do I have as input? I essentially have an input of, yeah, essentially just white and black. That's what I have. So I can do R red 16. That's probably all I need. And then when I blur, I could also set this up. I don't really see a reason to do this, but technically I could set it up so that I do 4 blue noises at the same time. That one I think definitely doesn't work, because once I start doing the void and cluster, I need to work on an individual channel. And then one channel goes out to 4 channels, where I have the value, the coordinate of the cluster, value, coordinate of the void. So I'm going to skip that step. Remember how this works? Okay, what does blurred plus placed not look at all like this one? Maybe it does? I don't know. Maybe this is like some kind of illusion thing? No, because I'm looking here. This pixel is definitely way dimmer than they should be right there. Something's up with that. Yeah, because look how bright it looks here, and like suddenly just making the white dots white does that. I don't understand why. I guess it's just part of the visualization. There's like some square rooting or something happening here, or like squaring. I don't know what it is. Yeah, squaring the value, I guess, to make it look different. Oh, it's got to be normalization, because this is already like really bright, and then we add 1 on top of that, and it gets brighter. Yeah, it's definitely normalizing, because you can see like the whole image is getting brighter here. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense what I'm looking at now. So Is 16 bits enough to represent? I need to like actually look this up. Precision of 16-bit float. Accurate to the ones place. What? What does this mean? E? What is E? What is this notation? Two to the 10 for half precision. That's what I have. Half precision, I believe, is 16. Yeah. 2 to the 10. Okay. I don't know what that number is. So if I want to encode the position, what does that limit me to actually? Because what I would have to do is I would have to write like essentially the row and column. So the row would have to be multiplied by whatever value I have, and the total value essentially can't be higher than 1030, 1023. So you would have like row 1 is actually 0, 511. So at 511, row 511, which would actually be like times 512 plus 511. Yes, that's not. Wow, maybe I don't have like room at all. Wait, what am I doing? I'm like writing this in a weird way. The square root of 1024. So with half precision, I can represent the precise location of a pixel up to 32, and that's it. Because this would essentially be 31 times 32 plus 32. Right, it was technically be plus 31, right? So half precision is not enough. Single precision, what can I get with single precision? Two to the 23. Okay, so I think that just, yeah, that immediately unlocks way more. So I think I could technically have this. I could go up to 1024 for noise. Alright, so I would need single precision, 32-bit, to have any. Otherwise, the maximum is 32, so I have to go up to single. Is there any way I can get around the fact that I'm like wasting bits? Because if I actually just had 16-bit, I would have 2 to the 16 of precision. So I could go up to 256. Actually, yeah, that's actually still not enough, so I would need single. 256 is like the starting value, but I'd probably make textures larger than that. I don't know, maybe 256 isn't? I don't think there's any way to do bit manipulation. I mean, let me just look it up. Can you bitcast in... What? Float bits to int? Oh, of course there would be. I just thought there wasn't. And I have it because I'm on 450. At least I think that's what 450 is. Uint bits... Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'll do half precision. Yep. I'll stick with half. Because I can do bitcast. I didn't think I could. I definitely knew like the normal like C syntax wasn't gonna work. But they actually have a function for it, so that's perfect. Okay. So Gaussian blur is essentially just like this one. I'm taking in is it like that? Yeah, okay. Whoa. So I'm taking in pixels and I'm writing out, this should be read-only. It's not a sampler, it's an image 2D. Yeah, okay, let me just copy these. And Gaussian's always taking in this. Yeah, I have to do Gaussian through a compute. Or do I? Yeah, I think I have to. I think I have to run it as part of a compute thing, so I can't do something else. But this is like a one-time operation. One sec. All right, I'm back. Okay, set. I don't think I need to do that. That doesn't, there's no need, just for set. And then I should push constants. How do uniforms work? Can I just pass in like a uniform float? Well, I guess I'm not changing it ever, right? So all right. I'm gonna put that up there. And then alignment, I think I have to have at least 16. This is lined up. This starts at 32. This starts at 44 and takes up 4 bytes to 48. Yeah, so I think it's aligned to 16. So I just have a float. Which will just be 0, and then I think I have to write a float reserved and then a vec3. I can't remember how this works. I think vectors need to be aligned. Vector 3 and 4 have to be aligned on 16, I think. But vector 2 can be aligned on 8. So that means I would need a float, and then maybe ToneApp does this. Okay, so we can put floats there. Oh, we can put a float after a vector 3. No, wait. Gosh. Okay, so I think, yeah, I think what I need to do is I could just do, have a float start. Yeah, I don't think I can put a vector 3 there, but I could do another float, and then I think I can do a vector 2. Oh, geez, do they have this? There was like some alignment. I had this once before, and I lost it. Okay. Nope. Do I really have to add? I don't. This is so weird. And why is this not in the results? Why do I have to click here to find this? No, I don't want this. What is going on? Why is this not here? Okay, do they have a link to it? Wow. This is really, 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 really annoying. STD 430. I'm like perplexed why it's so hard to find this. Can please, where is it? Is this it? I'm gonna freak out. Where is it? There's literally a page that's like, here's the type, here's the alignment. Like, by the way, you can put a float after a vector 3 in this version, or you can't. Where is that? Is this it? Wait. Is that allowed? I probably can't do that. I gotta find this thing and I gotta, like, save it. There's, like, literally a website that does this. It just shows you the alignment, and you can mess around and get what you want. It's definitely a GitHub that does this. Like, where is this defined? Where is this? Why is it only... Oh my gosh. Uniform arrays. Layout push constant. I don't understand. Why is push constant written here? Why is this like where I'm going to? I don't understand. This is just not like correct. This is not where I should be going. This is not push constants like at all. Like it's written somewhere, right? Like someone has to have documented what the push constant layout is. What is it? Why is it so difficult to find this? Well, I mean, it almost like doesn't exist. Like I'm genuinely wondering if this exists anywhere. It's like, here it is. Oh, and here's the numbers for the alignment of this example. What the hell is wrong with Google, man? Like, why is it not... This isn't it. And why doesn't this match to the spec? Can I find that? I need to see the word push constant, but this is like not... Maybe they just have like a really crazy specification, and when they write push constant like that, it means this. But they don't specify standard 430. I'm actually gonna lose it. I am actively losing it. What is this? What is this? Can I get the documentation? Where is it? It's not here. This isn't it. Google, this is not it. I don't know who is searching this and going here and be like, oh yeah, that's what I wanted. Who is it? And why is it gone? It just doesn't exist. I don't... Is this it? It doesn't exist. Like, I don't... Where is it? Can we explain what 430 means then? Oh my god. 12 byte increments, that's... What? What is this? What is this? What is this? This is nothing. This is not a specification. This is... What is this? Do I just not understand how this is like... What this means? They just say, here's 430, and then they say examples. Well, what am I missing? Is this Batman, Robin, Joker? What's a DVEC? Well, I mean, I guess I know what it means. I didn't know that existed. Okay. What is going on? A. Offset 20. Error lies within previous member. This doesn't, I don't understand what's going on. This is where I was. It literally doesn't say anything. Can I find this? What is that? What did I just copy? What? Copy. Where's the... Just... Where's the documentation? My god. Where is it? Source. Please source. You can't source... What is this? Solution. Source. This is not it. Like, what's my issue? What am I missing? It's like I'm trying to find the golden scroll, dude. Where do they just say, here it is. This is it. This is the specification. Can anyone link the specification? Can I find a specification? What is this? Is this real? Push constant. This is the first time I've seen push constant, or second time. Nothing. Layout guide. Vulkan guide. Maybe I just need to read it? I don't know. Like, loading, please wait. Yeah, this is all cool, but dude, can we just make it? Where's the table? Didn't match any documents. What? What are you talking about? Nothing for 4... What are you talking about? 410... Wait, am I thinking about this? Is it 140? Okay. Can we be serious? Someone's gotta just have like a table, right? Because I'm seriously not interested in reading this. All right, forget it. I'm literally just gonna wing it. Literally forget it. This is so ridiculous. Float. Reserved. I'm upset. I'm upset now. This has been so stupid. Wow. Wow. And then wait, I actually need like oh my gosh. Do I need? I don't think I need this. I think I compute it one time on the CPU and I just provide it. Okay, so uint kernel size I want to wrap the image, so I don't think I need to specify a size there. I think I'm fine skipping that. These will need to be 8. Actually, what do I do? I would technically just have a texture that is a one-dimensional texture of like it's they write it here how you would do this. I would essentially just have a texture that is these 4 values, and then from that they even say that you can just do it as what do they say? You could just blur it in the horizontal direction and then in the vertical direction. Yeah, right here. Okay. So you can just do it one-dimensionally, which would be for this value. So I could compute this on the CPU, just one time to save time. And then the blur just reads that value. So when I write this, I have to pass in how big, how large the kernel is, and image2d loads individual pixels. Does it need to be an image? Probably not. I can probably pass this in as a uniform. Probably not push constants though. Why is this highlighted, by the way? Why is it this value? What was the purpose of picking this like strange value? Yeah, we can do this. How a dynamic array. I think uniform arrays can be dynamic in size. We should define the array as a maximum number of lights you'll process. Why is this not the accepted answer? Is it new? Is that it? It's new. Oh my gosh, okay. Redditors are so stupid. Downvoted for asking for a freaking link. Like what? Cool, but what? Okay, so I can do this. buffer, though. It's not a uniform. It's a... Can I do that? Okay. I'll launch Godot. Eventually. I've got a real question. Like, is it getting harder to find information? Is it actually getting harder to find information on the internet? I feel like this is... Maybe it's because I think I've had this thought out loud before. Maybe it's because I'm asking more complicated questions. Where... Okay, it's got to like process shaders apparently. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm asking more complex questions or more specific questions. Like, I can't even find other people asking the question. Even that's hard. Dude, something is happening. Something is going on. Like one... What is this? One question, 2017. One question a year ago. 13 years ago, I got 3 questions. Apparently, according to Google, this question has been asked 3 times in history. Which is not true. Because I can guarantee you, if the oldest question is 13 years ago, it's been asked like 10 times a year for the last 13 years. This question. So where's all the questions? Where's all the answers? Why does Google keep putting Reddit at the top? It sucks. Like, look at this, man. Everyone who got here is like, okay, cool. Is there a link? Downvoted. Here's a link. 0 upvotes. Like, Reddit sucks so much. Is it Google? Is it AI? What's happening? What's going on? Why can't I find the answers to my questions? And what is this as well? What is this question? This isn't even a question. Dynamic arrays. I need to handle dynamic array and shader. It's converted into a 1D texture to pass as uniform to fragment. What is OSG? Open scene graph? Do people just not leave links anymore? Just use texture 2D? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm getting mad. I don't know if I can use a buffer. I don't even know if that's an option. It's not a uniform. I mean, of course, it's an option, but what I mean is, like, can I write that through Godot? Because as far as I'm aware, Godot has uniform and it has push constant, and that's it. It doesn't do anything else. And from what I'm seeing, I only get the dynamic from a buffer, not a uniform. Though technically, an image 2D is like a dynamically sized thing, but I just don't want to do that. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe there's no difference. I think what I'm looking for is, I'll just go here. So I push constants. Compute list. Yeah, so I'm guessing you only have uniforms. Buffer? Is this buffer? How do I make a buffer? Prints an error if a compute list is currently active. Okay, so I can't do that. Okay. So I have to do a texture. All right. Well, honestly, I don't know. Like, there's literally, I don't understand what the reason is to ever do. Well, I guess these are two things that can change. So actually, yeah, I'll do that. And then blurred. I don't know how to organize things. I think it really doesn't matter. Push constants, I'm just providing the kernel size so I know how much of the image I can read. And then, yeah, I would do it in 2 passes. So the first thing I do is I take all the pixels above and below me, and then I take all the pixels to my left and right. Or no. You know what's a great thing to look at? Probably how Godot does it. The question is, can I find it? It is copy. Which has Gaussian blur. Texture LOD +1 plus copy texture into 16 by 16 local memory for every 8 by 8 thread. Okay. So we copied in there, we just write, we just have it hard-coded. Horizontal pass, and then I'm assuming that's vertical pass. Color top. Read index. Color bottom. ZW? Oh. What? Okay, I'm not following this at all. Rotate samples to take advantage of cache coherency. Local cache. The thing that I understand is source color. Right. Source color. We're doing image store destination buffer. What's the point of the cache? So we write. This is what I don't get. This thing here. This is just weird. Copy texture into 1616 local memory for every 8/8. Why? Copy isn't doing something extra. It is. It's really just maybe it's that. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's this section thing because you can copy it to a different location. Maybe that's why. That still doesn't make. That still doesn't explain the use of this cache. Unless it's used outside of the blur. No. Why? What's the point of the cache? What is the point? Everyone comes in here and they write their color. We essentially double the image, right? So pixel 0 is going to write to 0, 1, 2, and 3. Something like that. That's what this is doing. So it's writing... I literally don't understand why it's doing this. This is really strange. Rotate the samples. What? Okay. I just... genuinely forget it. Void main. Oh, please W key work. Okay. Literally forget like 90% of what Godot's doing here. The color I don't get it. I don't get it. Color top? What are you talking about? Why are you doing two colors? Horizontal pass. They say vertical pass. Horizontal. Vertical. They do a barrier in the middle. Okay, so I think what I do is I write... I do have to use a temp to make it to pass. So in the temp, I write the horizontal result. Memory barrier. Oh, man. Memory barrier shared, then barrier. And then from that cache, my pixel is that slice. Blurred. Again. And then that's what I write out. Okay. And then I guess I'll use size. Okay. So what I do first is I blur horizontally, writing to cache. So I take from pixels using kernel with kernel size, I write to temp data. Okay. Which I need an index, so I'll do bar. Am I crazy? I am crazy. What? uint index will be equal to gl something. Whoa. Whoops. Y times size plus x, xy. So for int so if the kernel size is, I'm essentially writing, I think, yeah, so if it's 4, it would be like, I'll do this. I'll do kernel size minus 1. So if I have a 1 by 1 matrix, the kernel size would be 0. So be negative value of kernel size plus 1. Wow. Let's do int. Okay. I is equal to negative k, while I is less than k. Well, actually, I guess I do zero. I is less than or equal to, so kernel size 0, which means I'm doing the first pixel. Essentially, kernel size is the size of the image. So, no, kernel would be at least 1. But kernel 1, it's always going to be odd. I'm crazy. I'm just crazy. Also, this is how I like to write. Blur horizontally. Just do less than. So I'm taking I guess I can start with this. vec3. No, I'm just reading this. So float value will be equal to image load. Yeah, I'm doing image load source position pixels, and it's already like that. Image load should just return a float, I think. RG. I do write RG, so I guess I have to write that. So start with that value, and then no. It's supposed to be multiplied by that. So I is 0 times... Okay, yeah, I'm just crazy. Do I have to write it like... Jeez, do I know where my things are? 0.f. I guess I just write... I don't write that. Should be an integer. So what I do is I do value add image load pixels x plus I times can I? No. Times kernel image load kernel what is that tab? What? Right, I and 0. Okay. Yeah. Add them all up, and then I will write it to temp data. And then I do this. Okay. So now value is 0. This is so weird. What is happening? Okay. Value add. Supposed to be temp data index. I think. Oh, I have to do plus and minus. Right. When I do image load. Oh gosh. I need to look up image load. Does it go? It doesn't say anything about going outside of the boundaries. Identify a valid text so the bits used to represent the selected text on memory are converted to a vec for. Yeah. Okay. So there's no wrapping provided to me. I have to wrap myself. So okay. Is there a wrap? Can I get to like... Is there a wrap? W. Mod. One parameter modulo another by component. Okay, so it says generic type. That means I can't remember what this means. What is that? Okay. So I have a pixel coordinate, and then I'll have a position. So do position equals Mod pixel chord plus I0 mod with, I need the whole size of the image, don't I? Okay. So float reserved, and this will be this starts at 4, and this should start at 8. Yeah, 8 and 12. That, and now I can just use position, and that'll be like that. Yeah, this is probably why I want to skip the first one, right? So the first value is going to be image. Pixels. Pixel coordinates are. And then this will be add 1 minus 1. Right. Same thing. Though this still has to be multiplied by that value. I don't know. Is that okay? So now instead be temp data index times the kernel at 0, I is 1, position is now something a bit more complicated. We're adding I here, and then this will actually be temp data position. How did I store it? Index is y times size. So it's actually going to be local coordinates. And this will be evict2 local size. Okay. Local coordinates plus that, and then local size. So there's position. Plus that times this. Okay. And the only changes to this becomes a minus. What is going on? What is... Do I know where my buttons are? S. Wrong thing. Nope. Still a wrong thing. Oh my gosh. That's a plus. This is a minus. Okay, local coordinate plus I. And then we mod it to local size. And then I shouldn't have to do that. What? I've lost it. What? So the first thing I do is I blur horizontally. So every pixel is going to write its horizontal blur value. Okay? Then every pixel takes that value. No. What's going on? Okay, so something's wrong here. I don't know. It's wrong when I do this. Something's wrong here. I'm not quite convinced of it though. So I'm reading from temp data. So you can imagine temp data is just the box that contains all the horizontal blurs. However, that box doesn't work for vertical blur. Technically, I need a blur because I don't know how big kernel is. Kernel can be larger than my box. Kernel is larger than my box, then I'm blurring incorrectly. So I'm blurring wrong. Yeah, so this is incorrect. I think what this should be is probably version defines, 2 shaders. One just does it horizontally and one just does it vertically. Or I can just say, forget the temp data. No, because I need that, because I need to know. is it possible to do this like that? I think, is there any reason to do, it's probably better to do it 2 passes, right? Because you compute a small kernel, so it's quick, it's really, really fast. You could compute it like literally every time you run the shader. Then the shader, all it does is spends like very little time just doing a vertical or horizontal blur. Does the blur, writes the output, then you run the shader again, but then this time you tilt it to the other direction. So really, it also kind of allows you to have a different vertical to horizontal blur if you want as well. Okay. So yeah, I need that. And essentially what I'm doing is I'm following this. So kernel size, reserved size, right? It's actually probably better to put this up here. Oh my gosh, 0, 4, 8, 12. Okay. So I don't have temp data anymore. Not doing that. Skip that. Writing it to blurred. And honestly, would it be if I know that I'm just blurring in one channel? It's probably not faster, right? I was gonna say, is it faster to do 2 floats multiply or multiply 4 floats? Technically, if you're doing it like one after the other, yes, it'd be faster to do 1 float over 4 floats, but that's not how GPUs work. Or CPUs work. They pretty much batch several floats together in one go. I think especially GPUs do that. So when I write a vector 3 times a vector 3, that's the same amount of time as 1 float times 1 float. So I could do RGB, whatever this one is. I guess a sampler 2D. Then I do Texel. Yeah. Is Tomap the same way? RGB is 16. Sure, I'll just do RGB 16 image 2D screen so I don't have to. Is it 16? Yeah. Just call it screen. Why not? can get crazy with it. Blur different channels individually. Alright. So I don't think, yeah, I need local size. I don't think I need local chord either. I just have, I don't think I even need index. Just doing pixel coordinate. So coordinate. Honestly, just do this. So this will be image load, screen, I'll have wrap and stuff like that. So screen coordinates, back 3. Multiply by that. And then for I less than this, and I guess I can write this as one image load. So color will take screen, add and this is where I will do a possible wrap. So if I go outside, jeez. So wrap will be easy. Just mod. Coordinates. Gosh. Can it stop doing that? So that's wrapped. Okay. So coordinates plus effect 2 of vertical I, 0 and I. Oh, those were doing I in 0. That will be minus. And this is times k. And then like that. Okay, so that's wrapped. And then non-wrapped. I guess if it goes outside, then what do you use? You just use the same color? I guess so, right? So you just say, if you're going off the top, then you would just say, all right, we're gonna use this color. Yeah, so it's like clamp, right? Clamp this value to and this would be minus. I guess if I'm adding, I know that it would actually be min. Doing this one in size. When I'm subtracting, this will be a max. Doing this in 0. So it's a bit easier. And then this flips. Just do that. And then I don't need that, and I don't need that. I'm just doing image store. Blurred. The value. What? The coordinate and then the color. Okay. And is it supposed to be color vec4? Yeah. So start with that, and it would be like color RGB. Yeah, okay. And I guess this should be multiplied by alpha, but do I really need to do that? I'm gonna assume I can keep alpha. So, no, alpha's, alpha is strange, actually. So, let me do this. A and B. It's at the end. Okay. So I've got A and B. And what I do, I leave the alpha untouched for the same thing. But when I'm adding the color here, it's going to be a XYZW, all right, AW times K. I guess I can technically do it like this. Okay, and I'm writing out the coordinate and color. Okay. I'll leave it open. So the alpha of neighboring pixels is accounted for. And we are only modifying the color based on the alpha of that pixel. In addition to that, so full color support, which means in theory, if I want to, I could generate 4 distinct. No, I can't. I'm just running Gaussian blur to blur an image. That's all it's doing. It just takes an image and it blurs it. Though I think technically I should actually probably be using a sampler 2D so that I can have whatever I want. Because as you can see here, you don't set anything. So yeah, I'll do sampler 2D so I can keep my pixels as just a red color. Is it like that? I don't think you have to do restrict there because the sampler 2D is like that. Okay. How does this work? Screen. Though it does become a thing when I'm copying the image back. If I'm copying back only in a red channel, then it does matter. So let me do this. If def out R. So I have red, green, blue alpha. RG. GB. Cool. All right. And now I need to do all of these. And I'm just going to check this. So when it does image store, vec4. RG32F. You have to always be a vec4? Okay. Alright, well I guess that part doesn't matter. But I just changed what the layout is of the result. Actually, can it be an unknown layout? Oh gosh, flashbang. I don't know. This is probably the right way to do it. So I have this, so I can specify if I'm blurring smaller images, which should just be better for data transfer. So when I'm essentially, when I eventually say, all right, give me the blurred image, I don't have to copy an RGBA image. I just have to copy a one channel image, which should be way, way faster. As far as I'm aware, that can't really be threaded, or it's not the case where doing this math is the same amount of time whether or not you're doing a single color or 3 colors. But it does require the input. Oh, I made the input a sampler 2D. Right, so let me get that fixed then. So there should be text will fetch. And I just assume an alpha value of 1, right? So text will fetch, screen position, and then 0. Yeah. Oh man, this is gonna suck. I wish copying like worked. Similar to how normal clipboards worked, where it doesn't swap you every time you paste something. Really weird. Does anyone legitimately use that? The fact that copying or pasting also copies whatever you pasted over. Why? Do I have to specify? Position is effect 2. Okay, that's fine. This dog. What? It should be RGB. And then kernel. That. No alpha. Okay. I think I'm gonna leave it there for today. I know, really short, but I'll get there. I'll get back to longer streams actually working. All right, well, that's it for today. Am I working on my own time? I don't know. But yeah. See you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.